The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Mia Chen stepped to the podium. Her dark eyes swept across the assembled delegates, beings from 1,000 worlds, each more ancient and advanced than humanity. Yet today, they looked at her with something she'd never seen before: fear. "The motion before this council," announced the Vorlaxian arbiter, his crystalline form refracting the chamber's light into rainbow patterns, "is to formally request that humanity withdraw all military vessels from the Catharian conflict zone." Ambassador Chen, you may respond. Mia's jaw tightened. 3 months ago, the council had begged Earth to intervene. Now they wanted humans gone. She knew why, but hearing it spoken aloud would make it real. "May I ask," she said carefully, "what has changed since the council's original request for assistance?" The arbiter's color shifted to deep purple embarrassment in Vorlaxian body language. "Ambassador, surely you are aware of the incidents." "I am aware that human forces have been effective," Mia replied. "Perhaps too effective for some tastes." A chittering sound erupted from the Scrath delegation. Their spokeswoman, a mantis-like being named Chikara, rose on her multiple legs. "Effective. Effective. Your species is insane. They treat war like war." Mia offered coldly. "The human vessel Indomitable," Chikara continued, her mandibles clicking in agitation, "was ordered to provide defensive support for the medical station at Kepler 44 to be. Do you know what they did instead?" Mia did know. Captain Kevin Rodriguez had submitted his after-action report directly to her. But she let Chikara continue. "They detected a Catharian raiding fleet heading toward the station. Standard protocol: fall back, call for reinforcements, evacuate the wounded." The Indomitable had a crew of only 300 against 15 Catharian warships. Chikara's voice rose to a screech. "Your captain didn't retreat. He didn't call for backup. He attacked and saved the medical station," Mia interjected, "along with 4,000 patients and staff, by ramming his battleship through the enemy flagship." The arbiter exclaimed. At full combat speed, his bridge crew reported that Captain Rodriguez was laughing as he ordered them to collide with a vessel 3 times their size. Mia pulled up the tactical display. The council members averted their eyes. Most of them had already watched the footage more times than they cared to admit. The Indomitable, ablaze and trailing atmosphere, had punched through the Catharian command ship like a meteor. The enemy fleet, seeing their flagship literally split in half, had scattered. Captain Rodriguez had lost 40 crew members. The Catharians had lost 6,000. Captain Rodriguez employed tactics appropriate to the situation, Mia stated. He was outnumbered 50-1. Conventional engagement would have failed. That's precisely the problem. A new voice joined the debate. Ambassador Thelcor of the Wisdom Caste, one of the oldest species in the galaxy, floated forward on his anti-gravity platform. "Ambassador Chen, we have been waging civilized warfare for 10,000 years. We understand the mathematics of conflict, the acceptable loss ratios, the proper protocols for surrender and negotiation. Your species has been in space for less than 2 centuries, yet you fight as though every battle is your last." "Perhaps," Mia said quietly. "That's because we remember when it almost was." The chamber fell silent. Every species present knew Earth's history: the nuclear scares, the climate disasters, the near extinctions. Humanity had clawed its way to the stars from the edge of annihilation more times than most species had wars. Your Captain Rodriguez is not an isolated case, Thelcor continued gently. The destroyer Relentless pursued Catharian raiders into a stellar storm that our sensors rated as certain death. They emerged victorious. The frigate Defiant held a supply line alone for 6 days against continuous assault, refusing to yield despite 70% casualties. And the battleship Perseverance ... He paused. They discovered a Catharian staging ground and attacked it without orders, without support, without even informing their fleet command until after the battle was won. 17 human vessels, the arbiter said, have been involved in 41 major engagements. They have won 41. But Ambassador Chen, the cost ... We know the cost, Mia interrupted, her voice hard. "Every name, every face. We bury our dead and remember them. That's not what I meant. The Arbiter's color shifted to pale blue sadness. The Catharians are requesting peace negotiations. They say they cannot fight humans. They say your species doesn't understand when to stop. When a battle is decided, when honor has been satisfied, they say fighting humans is like fighting a force of nature relentless, unreasonable, unstoppable. Mia felt a cold smile touch her lips. They asked for peace, because they are terrified. Chkar confirmed. We all are. You don't fight for territory, or resources, or political advantage. You fight like every battle determines whether your species lives or dies. It's not rational. No, Mia agreed. It's human. She pulled up another display. Earth, blue and beautiful, hanging in the black. For 4 billion years, life on our world fought to survive. Every species that made it by refusing to quit. We are the descendants of the ones who held on when holding on seemed impossible. It's written into our DNA, into our culture, into our very souls. We don't know how to give up because giving up means extinction, which is why, the Arbiter said gently, we must ask you to withdraw. The Catharians will accept peace terms. The war can end today, but only if the human battleships leave the combat zone. Mia looked at each delegate in turn. They weren't asking out of malice. They were asking because humanity scared them not for what humans were, but for what they represented. A reminder that in the cold equations of the universe, sometimes survival meant being willing to do the impossible. I will forward your request to Earth Command, Mia said finally. But understand this. You asked us to come because you needed someone who wouldn't quit. You asked us to fight because your civilized warfare wasn't enough. We did what you asked. We won your war. And now you're afraid because you finally understand what it takes to truly win. She closed her files and turned to leave. Ambassador Chen, Thelcor called out. What will your people say? Mia paused at the doorway. Captain Rodriguez is being promoted to Admiral. The Indomitable is being repaired and renamed. And yes, our battleships will withdraw. Relief flooded the chamber. But remember this moment, Mia continued. Remember that you were saved by the very ferocity you now reject. Because the universe is vast and dark and full of things that don't negotiate. And when you meet something that truly threatens you, something that can't be reasoned with or voted away, you'll call us again, she smiled. And we'll answer, because that's what humans do. As the chamber doors closed behind her, Mia heard the Arbiter's final words, for the good of all. Keep the human battleships away from the war. She pulled out her communicator and sent a message to Captain now Admiral Kevin Rodriguez. Mission accomplished. The war is over. The Catharians surrendered? His reply came seconds later. Did we win too hard again? Mia laughed despite herself. Something like that. Understood. Indomitable standing by for new orders. And ma'am, the crew picked a new name for the ship. What is it? Inevitable. Mia smiled. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Humanity would withdraw its battleships, for now, but the galaxy would remember. And when the darkness came again, and it always did, they would remember, who stood between civilization and the void, who fought when fighting seemed hopeless, who won when winning seemed impossible. They would remember the humans, and they would call the end.